Hey everyone, I'm Aubrey, and welcome back to another episode of the Mystery Mold series. This is mold number 5. I'm still working with small molds at this point because I'm still new to it, but this one is actually pretty interesting. It's a 2-part piece. You'll see me pour up both ends of this, and I didn't know that you could pour them at the same time. So I poured the larger side, and then I let that dry and took it out, and then I poured the other end, which now I know that you can do them together, which will save time. I'll be honest, I'm not in love with the pattern on this piece, but it's not terrible either, and it's definitely something I can work with. So on one side it has like a pear, and on the other side it has a pear and an apple. There's enough blank space around that I can add some of my own artwork and detail around it, but you're kind of limited to sticking with the theme, I guess, which is not my favorite thing. I like to be able to have complete creative freedom, but that's just part of it with these whole mystery mold things. It's just you gotta go with the flow on them. Anyway, I'm getting the piece cleaned up now, trying to get rid of those seam marks, and then now that that piece is done, I can go back and pour the lid portion, which on the second and third mold I did them together because I learned, but on that first one I did them separately, which was fine, but you have to make sure you leave them for the same amount of time so that they're the same thickness. One of these I actually left for too long, and it was so thick that the lid did not fit well in the body of the form, so I had to do some alterations on that to get them to fit. But I was able to shave down enough to get them to fit together, so it didn't pose an issue in the end. On the lid here, I'm just cleaning up the pouring spout, cutting that off, and then getting rid of the seams, smoothing them out. And then there's a little test fit of that first one, and it looks nice. I bisque fired these to cone 04, and then they were ready for glazing. So like I have with my previous molds, I'm using the Amico Satin Matte Glaze line. I'm a little bit obsessed with it at the moment just because it's so fun to mix and match all the colors, and I've made test tiles for everything so I can what the colors will look like together before I do it. And so I'm just taking some of the green colors. I think I went with mint on the main part of the pear there, and then I went in while it was still wet and added some yellow just to give it kind of like a highlighted 3D effect. And I kind of did the same thing with the apple. I went in with the red, and then I went back with the cayenne while it was still wet to give it some highlights. And then I think I used moss there for the foliage, and I had to break out my Mako leather glaze to do the brown for like the stems, just because I still didn't have a brown mixed up. Since making this video, I have made up a couple of brown colors. I custom mixed them just using color theory, so I need to run a couple of test tiles through to make sure those browns look nice before I put them on a piece, so I'm waiting on that. But I went in with my custom pink color for those flowers, and then added the yellow dots in there. Went back in with the moss to finish up the green. I do wish that I had more of a deep green color. They don't have one pre-mixed, so I'll need to just figure out how to make one myself and make another bottle of that custom color. But that's fine. That's part of the fun with those glazes. You can mix them as much as you want. There's that Mako leather. Just put a single coat on all of the branches around the piece. And I'm not going to make you watch me do that all the way around because that can get a little boring. But we're going to move on to the white body part. So I was careful when I was applying it around the decorations on there, just because I didn't want the colors to mix. I just wanted them to sit next to each other. So this is sped up quite a bit because I was extra careful. And then I just filled in all the blank space with white. And then while that is still wet, I'll end up going back with a red and adding little dots in there just to kind of give it like a vintage type vibe, because that's the vibe I was getting from the piece itself. And in the end, this one was my favorite piece. It's just so colorful and fun, and I loved the polka dot on there. It really made the piece. And then on the little ledges there, and I used my custom pink color. And then that's the same pink that I used on the lid knob as well, which you'll see in just a minute. But I coated the interior with some Cottontail Stroke and Coat. I just wanted to do it white on the inside, and I have a lot of that glaze, so that's what I went with. I just squirted a bunch of it inside and then spread it out, which worked fine for this. I wouldn't suggest that for other pieces just because you can get an unevenness, but for this I was able to do it quick enough that it was fine. And then I did the same for the lid, coated the inside or the underneath side with white, and then once that was dry enough, I moved on to the top portion. I just kept with the same vintage theme on the lid, and I did pink on the knob there, and then coated the rest of it in white and put the red polka dots on there. For the second piece, I actually wanted to try something new. I have just gotten some washes from Mako. So this one is iron wash. I also bought manganese wash, but I have an order coming up for a deer antler mug, and so I wanted to test out this iron wash on something, and this is what I had made up, so that's what we went with. I did a thick coat of that on the outside of the piece and then wiped back what I could. So the wash stains the piece pretty well, so I was not sure how that would look. I was not sure if it would make the glaze run. So because of that, when I went over the top of it, I didn't go all the way down with my glaze, which I regret now looking back. Just seeing how it came out. This is definitely my least favorite piece. That's kind of what I get for making it a test piece, and that's okay. I can always refire it with something, which I might do, just so that it's usable, because I don't think it's pretty at all after the results. But after the iron wash, I did 3 coats of Mako's Birch, which is a beautiful glaze. I have a hard time getting it to look like a smooth finish. It looks pretty patchy for me every time I've used it, but I love the color of it. It's a nice neutral color, and that's kind of what I need for this antler that I'm going to be making, so that's why I tried that on this one. And you can see that I did not go all the way down just in case it ran. Again, I wish I had just because it would at least look like a solid piece, but in the end it looks like just a disconnect from the glaze to that band around the bottom, which individually they look fine, but together it does not really work too well. I'll have to play some more with the iron wash, but here we are. We're gonna see the results, and this first one is one that my daughter actually glazed, and I did not film it, but she did a good job. She did white on it, and then she just glazed the fruit on there. Turns out kind of cute. And then my favorite one, which is the vintage polka dot one, it just reminds me of a kitchen apron. I love that one so much, and I think we're going to be giving that one away to one of our girls' teachers. I don't want to hold on to that one. I want to spread some love with it. And then here's the third one, which was not my favorite. It just does not look good together. Like if it was all one thing, if it was all iron wash, it would look cool, or if it was all birch, it would look cool, but I'm just not a fan of that one. We're probably going to refire it. Well, that was the end of mystery mold number 5. Let me know what you guys think about the results. They're kind of all over the place if you ask me, but it was definitely fun doing them, and I can't wait to open up the next mold. So you guys will have to like and subscribe so you'll see when the next one comes out, which will be very soon. See you guys next time. Bye.